Hey guys, Sonic here today, back with another video, and today I'm going to be reviewing Sonic Mania and telling you guys why I think Sonic Mania is the GOAT. Yeah, let's get started. So first, let's start off with the story. So the story is, some egg robos go to Angel Island to go get a very powerful gemstone called the Phantom Ruby. Sonic and Tails also pick up a reading of the Phantom Ruby as well, so they rush to Angel Island to go see what's going on. And when they get there, they find the Egg Robos have gotten there first, and now they're taking the Phantom Ruby. So, the Egg Robos turn into the Hard-Boiled Heavies, which are new to this game, and then they send Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles to Green Hill. And the rest of the story is basically just Sonic and Tails collecting all the Chaos Emeralds. Then they, after they collect all the Chaos Emeralds, they also stop Eggman, the Hard-Boiled Heavies, and try to get the Phantom Ruby. So yeah, the story is overall really great. Also, I think that the Hard-Boiled Heavies are great additions. You know, they are all really cool. I like their personalities. I like fighting them. And yeah, the Hard-Boiled Heavies are just great. And yeah, now let's talk about visually speaking, graphics. So this is definitely the best looking classic Sonic game by far. It has, you know, really great pixel art. And yeah, so the pixel art is great. Yeah, it's just a visually great looking game. Best visually looking classic Sonic game. And yeah, now let's move on to the soundtrack. The soundtrack is absolutely outstanding. I have way too many favorites to list. It's definitely one of my top 5, top 3 actually Sonic soundtracks in the series. It may even be my favorite, but still really debating whether it's this game or CD. But yeah, now let's move on to the gameplay. So first, let's talk about the playable characters. Playable characters in this game are Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and with the Plus update, Mighty and Ray. We're not really going to be talking that much about the Plus update because it's just a color palette swap and 4-player competition mode of Mighty and Ray. But yeah, so Tails and Knuckles are exactly how they are in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Mighty and Ray are really great additions. They're really fun to play as. Mighty is super OP. His shell like protects him from like spikes and stuff. And Ray is super fun to play as with his flying ability, but the problem is that I like playing with Mighty a little more than Ray, because with Ray's flying ability, the level design isn't really, you know, it's not really made for that. So yeah, and now let's talk about Sonic. Sonic is different in this game because he has a new move called the Drop Dash. And the Drop Dash is outstanding. The Drop Dash is so good. I love using it. I use it all the time. And yeah, the Drop Dash is so good. To do the Drop Dash, what you do is after you jump in midair, you hold the jump button and then boom, Drop Dash. And it's great. The Drop Dash is outstanding. And yeah, so also let's talk a little bit about the elemental shields. The elemental shields are pretty much exactly how they are in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, except they're a little different this time around. This time, the elemental shields are, you know, a little different, as I just said. The fire shield has the ability, is exactly how it is in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, except now it can burn down bridges in Green Hill Zone and make fire slides in Oil Ocean. The electric shield is exactly the same, except it can also make you stick to the ceiling in Flying Battery, and the bubble shield is, well, it's exactly the same. Huh. Yeah. Now, let's talk about the level design. In my Sonic 3 and Knuckles review, I said that Sonic 3 and Knuckles had the best level design in the classic Sonic series because it balanced, speed, platforming, and all that stuff perfectly, better than all the other games. And Mania even beats Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Mania balances speed, platforming, and exploration even better than Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and the levels are overall more fun, in my opinion, which is the main reason why I prefer this game over Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And yeah, but we're not fully done, For those who are unaware, classic Sonic games usually have 3 paths: the middle path, the normal path, the higher path being a little harder to, get onto, and the bottom path is usually very slow with a bunch of enemies. And yeah, of course, Sonic Mania is very non-linear, very fast-paced, and yeah, that's one of the great things about it, it's very non-linear, very fast-paced, and yeah. Every level has a bunch of different pathways that you can go on, and it's just great. It's overall just great. And yeah. Also, old zones do make a return in Sonic Mania, and most of the levels are old. But they reuse the old zones so well that it doesn't even matter. Like, Act 1, for example, of the old zone is usually just the copycat act, and it usually has elements from the first 2 or 3 acts in the original, where it was from. But then Act 2, for example, is a completely different experience. So yeah, Act 2 is it's very similar to, the zone, but it also has there's also something new about it. So like, for example, Green Hill Act 2, like Green Hill Act 1, 2, and 3, Act 1 is based off of Green Hill Act 1, 2, and 3 from Sonic 1, but then Act 2 is different, has those things from Emerald Hill. And the background is also based off of an older prototype version of Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1, so that's cool. And then Chemical Plant Act 1 is similar to Act 1 and 2 from Sonic 2, and then Act 2 introduces, bouncy gel floors or whatever, kind of similar to Wacky Workbench, and it also has, elements of Metallica Madness as well. So, yeah. And then, there's Flying Battery, which Act 2 is like a whole storm and everything, and in Hydra City, it's a little different. Act 1 is a little more new, and Act 2 is a little more old. And in Oil Ocean Act 2, well, not only do you get to set everything on fire, obviously, but it also has elements of Sandopolis, but not the ghost, thank God. And then, what's next after Oil Ocean? Oh yeah, then Lava Reef will act. Lava Reef's not really. And Metallic Madness is basically the same, but there's also differences, and yeah. So the old zones are overall great. The Act 2 makes it feel kind of like a new zone, and they reuse the old zones so well that I don't even care at all, honestly. Yeah, it would be nice to have, some more new zones, but I'm glad they brought old zones back and did it the way they did it. So, yeah, also let's talk about the new zones. So, this new zone you're seeing right now is Studiopolis Zone, and it's a pretty great zone, especially Act 1. I really like Act 1, and this boss is really good. And, yeah, now let's talk about the bosses, too. Speaking of the bosses, this game is like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where there's a boss at the end of each act. So the first boss in the first act is a mini boss, which takes 6 hits. And then in the second act, there's a regular boss, which takes 8 hits. So yeah, this game has that as well. You know, has mini bosses, and all the bosses in this game, for the most part, are pretty outstanding. There were a couple that weren't so great, you know, like Press Garden's mini boss, but a lot of them were great. You know, the Hardboiled Heavy fights were great, Metal Sonic was great, the Death Egg Robot and Green Hill Zone. I mean, a lot of the boss fights in this game are just great. So yeah, but now let's talk more about, you know, the new zones. So the new zones, again, Studiopolis, we already went over that. Then there's Press Garden. Act 1, it's not that great. But Act 2 is really great. It has a great song. I mean, which, no shit. And it also has, it's like an ice level. And if you have a fire shield, you can, like, burn everything. And it's really, really cool. And then the next new level would be Mirage Saloon. And Mirage Saloon, Act 1 is basically like Sky Chase, and Act 2 for Knuckles is a brand new level, which is super cool. And Act 2 is great. My problem with it, though, is that it is, you know, kind of short. I'm not really a big fan of how short it is, but yeah. And then there's Titanic Monarch, which, in my opinion, is the best final level, like, ever in any Sonic game. Because I will admit, it is a little, you know, it is pretty easy for a final level, you know. Like, I didn't struggle with it that much at all when I first played it. And yeah, it's a great final level, though, because it's long, it feels like a final level, but it's not, like, borderline frustrating with like bullshit enemy placement or anything. And it's just, it is a great final level. In my opinion, it's the best final level ever in any Sonic game, like literally ever. I love that level. But yeah, and of course, you know, Green Hill, best rendition of Green Hill. Chemical Plant, same thing. Flying Battery right now, same thing, you know. Stardust Speedway, I think that Stardust Speedway is a lot better too, because in the original Stardust Speedway in Sonic CD, it was kind of, you know, a little more complicated and confusing a little bit, but in Mania, they fixed that problem. So yeah, then Hydra City obviously is amazing. Then Oil Ocean, I actually think Oil Ocean's a lot better in this game, because I don't know, it's just better. It's more fun to play, you know, the enemy placement is not as BS in my opinion, and yeah. Then after that we have Lava Reef, which in my opinion is definitely a lot better in Mania than it was in 3 and K, especially because of the bosses, because especially you know, the boss in Lava Reef with the Heavy Rider, that's a good fight. That's actually a challenging boss if you don't have Super Sonic. That's actually a fun, good, challenging boss if you're, you know, if you're not just abusing Super Sonic or whatever. So yeah, that's really cool, and it's way better than the Lava Reef boss in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because that guy takes 14 hits, and it's just, it's so slow, and yeah, it just really sucks. But yeah, and then Metallica Madness Zone. They really improved Metallica Madness Zone, because in Metallica Madness Act 2 in Sonic CD, it was very, especially Act 2, it was very confusing on where you were supposed to go, you know, like, because it could get like really, it could get a little too non-linear, a little too mazy, because it's like, you don't, sometimes it's like you don't even know where you're going. So yeah, but yeah, so they really improved Metallic Madness Zone. Also, the final boss is amazing. I really like how Dr. Eggman and the Heavy King are fighting over the Phantom Ruby. I think that that's really, really cool. Yeah, I think that that's super cool. And the final boss, I love it. It's not like, I really wish that they didn't make the dash cost 5 rings, but other than that, it's a really great fight. And yeah, so now let's talk about the Chaos Emeralds and the special stages. So yeah. So the special stages in this game, I love them. I think they're the best special stages in the whole series, because it's getting into the special stages is just like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where what you have to do is you have to find a giant ring in the level, and after you find the giant ring, you just go into the special stage, and the special stage theme, in my opinion, is the best, and the special stages themselves are the best, because what you do for the special stages is you have to collect enough blue orbs. You know, you have to collect enough blue orbs to fill your speed, you know, sort of similar to Sonic Heroes, but it's not exactly the same thing. And the more orbs you collect, the higher your Mach speed gets, and the highest Mach you can reach is Mach 3. And yeah, and Mach 3, you know, each Mach speed gets, you know, faster and harder to control, and the difficulty of the special stages is great. They're not too easy, but not too hard. And if you did think they were too easy, then play the Encore mode ones, because those ones are way harder. But yeah, and also, you have, I also forgot to mention, in the special stage you have to collect rings to, you know, fill your time. So what you have to do is you have to balance out blue spheres and rings, and yeah, so that's the special stages. And Super Sonic is great, especially when you use the drop dash. Also, every character has a super form, even Tails, but he doesn't have his flicky army of death. Knuckles has a super form, Mighty has a super form, Ray has a super form, and yeah, all of their super forms are great. And now, also, let's talk about the bonus stages. So, Blue Sphere returns in this game. And yeah, so you can play the Blue Sphere special stages. They're much, you know, there's 32 of them, and they're much harder. When you collect the medals, you can unlock things like, you know, the Insta Shield from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. You can unlock Super Peel Out from Sonic CE. Unfortunately, there's no max control option though. You can also unlock more blue spheres. You can unlock Mean Bean Machine and Knuckles mode. Yes, they added an and Knuckles mode. They put a freaking meme in this game. I mean, like, what? They literally put a goddamn meme in this game. Yeah, the blue spheres bonus stages are alright. Yeah, and also, fun fact, if you beat all of the blue sphere special stages with a perfect, and you unlock another bonus stage, which is like the Encore bonus stage, except it's in Mania mode, so that's really cool. And those those bonus stages, they're alright, but they're actually, no, I kind of lied, they actually kind of suck. But yeah, also, again, this game has zone and act transitions, and in my opinion, it's even better than it was in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And yeah, what else more is there to say about this great game? This game also has time attack mode as well. It has competition mode. It also has 1.5 player mode as well, where you could, you know, a second person could control Tails. Also, I forgot to mention, if you're playing with Sonic and Tails together, you can look up and double tap, and then Tails will start to fly. So that's really cool. And yeah, I love that feature. And yeah, guys, so Sonic Mania overall is a phenomenal game, and I'll see you guys next time.